guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I've got a couple of knives here that I want to show you that these have been in my collection for a long time. These are knives that are never going anywhere. And we all have some knives like that where immediately we go, yep, this is perfect. It's never leaving. Now, on the other hand, what I want to talk about today are knives that we get and we probably like them. Maybe even really like them, and then for some reason we get rid of them, and then we miss those knives so much that we end up feeling compelled to buy them again. And so I want to share a few knives like that with you. I want to start out with a couple of sort of honorable mentions, and that is the military 2 and the paramilitary 2. I've had a number of variations of these knives. The military I really liked, and of course always wished that it had a compression lock and could be carried tip up. And so when they did that, I picked up another one, and I kind of got rid of it knowing that until that happened, I wasn't going to. These, I've had a number of different pair of 2s, and for a while I was trying to get all of the variations, and I ended up getting like six or so. I got stuck on the bento box M390 one, and I just couldn't find one anywhere, couldn't get my hands on one, so ultimately gave up, was like, why am I wasting time on this? I sold them all and moved on with life. So those are kind of honorable mentions, but I do have some knives that I want to bring in, beginning with this one, because it is one of the this is the standout of this video. This, of course, is the Manix 2 XL. And if you've been around my channel for a long time, you know that one of the early knives that I picked up from Spyderco was the Manix 2 XL. In fact, it may have been, I had an Ambitious or a Tenacious, but in terms of nicer Spydercos, it was probably my first one. Anyway, I got rid of it. The only thing that I didn't love about the one I had was a black blade, so I got rid of it. And always wanted, initially when I got rid of it, I'm like, I'm just going to sell the black bladed one and get a satin blade one, because I definitely prefer a satin blade. Anyway, long story short, I got rid of it, didn't get one back for a long time. And eventually when they started coming out with, maybe some of you guys have this problem too, but when they started coming out with like different variations, I will say I kind of have that with this knife now. There are a number of different steels available, and I kind of think, well, maybe I could get a different steel. I'll sell the S30V and get something different. Anyway, nonetheless, when they started doing variations on these, I knew that one of them were going to be, was going to be really, really good, and then I'd finally get one. So I was able to pick this one up recently off the secondary. In fact, I should throw this sticker in here because a number of the knives I've got in this video are going to come from Canadian Knife and Gear in the sales posts that they do weekly. That's where this one came from. Thank you so much for passing this along. And I have to say, having this back is really, really cool. There are a number of videos I want to make with this. There are a bunch of comparisons I want. Not to mention, it just feels so right in my hand. This is on the very short list of my favorite Spydercos. So that's one that goes on this list. I do have another Spyderco that goes on this list. This also came from Canadian Knife and Gear, hence the sticker here for this video. I had a YoJumbo when they first came out. I enjoyed it. I carried it for a while. Eventually, I sold it. I don't know why. Sometimes I get like a bunch of Spydercos. I think maybe I've got too many Spydercos, as if that's a problem that people can really have, right? Anyway, I got rid of it. I was able to, again, find this one on the forums with the Flytanium, and so really, really stoked about having this back in the collection. And I find myself carrying this and using this so much. It's such a great knife. What was going through my head when I got rid of it, I do not know. Next on the list is a classic cold steel. This is the Code 4. This is such a great knife, and I had one of these way back when they first came out in AUS 10, then I had one in S35VN, but having had a couple of Spydercos in CTS XHP, I really, really wanted this knife. In a perfect world, I meant cold steels. I think I said Spydercos. In a perfect world, all of my cold steels would be CTS XHP. While we're thinking about that, I was able to pick up a Recon 1 in CTS XHP, and that is a huge win. My American Lawman has been in that from the start. As soon as they went to that steel and the thinner profile, I picked one up. Anyway, this knife is this is the third Code 4 that I've had. And the reason I picked up this one again from CKG is that it's in CTS XHP, which is the best thing. These cold steels in CTS XHP just perform like crazy. They're easy to sharpen. They hold an edge forever. Just a huge, huge win. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, here's a big one. Hinderer. So this is XM-18 with a drop point blade. The previous owner put this carbon fiber scale on it, which I love. When I bought this, it came with the original scale as well, but the carbon fiber looks great, feels good in hand, so it makes sense to leave it on there. I may do something with the hardware on this. Hinderers are, you know, definitely of the high-end knives. They're about my favorite. And the reason I do get rid of them, I have a hard time keeping them. This one's not going anywhere though, because I've gotten rid of a couple that now I just cannot replace. And that's really, really sad to me. So this one, you know, I like this configuration, and I'm afraid if I were to get rid of it, I wouldn't be able to get anything similar back. So Hinderer back in the collection. And this is probably the 5th or 6th or maybe even 7th Hinderer that I've had over the years. I absolutely love these knives. And so again, you know, it's just a knife that I got rid of and miss so much when I don't have one, that it's, you know, I feel compelled to put one back in the collection. Next, I feel like this is a cold steel heavy video. One, I'm a cold steel fanboy for sure. I'm a Nando Demko fanboy as well. So that makes a lot of sense, I think. But I've got a budget-ish knife, a cheaper knife coming up anyway. But yeah, here's a knife that I got when they first came out. I rant and raved about how great it was. The only thing that ever bothered me a little about these is the color variations. There are not that many. I picked this one up initially planning to do a scale swap on it. I still have every intention of doing that. I just haven't found the scales that, you know, sort of speak to me just right yet, but I will. And then when I make that swap, I'll probably make a video about it. But I got rid of my original 8015. I just, you know, it kept weighing on me that I didn't have one. So a number of years ago, I was able to pick this one up. Again, I don't know if this came from CKG for sure. It may have, but I do like this colorway a little bit more. And this one has an MXG deep carry clip, which is fantastic. It has the original clip as well, but the MXG clip is so nice on this, makes it very deep carry. So there is another cold steel that I had, got rid of stupidly, and wanted back. I do have one last knife, and this one I saved till the end because it doesn't perfectly fit the theme of the video. This is of course the Civivi Vision FG, but I borrowed a couple of these for review from a fellow local knife enthusiast. Steve was willing to let me borrow one for review, and it's a great knife. It really is fantastic. I mean, you've seen so many reviewers say this, that do I need to add one more voice? But I loved the knife. This is the one that connects with me the most. I love the look of this. I think the Damascus on Civivis, if you want something fancy, especially if you want a Damascus blade, you know, unless you're doing Chad Nichols Damascus, you know, you're sacrificing some performance, where with the Civivis, you're getting a budget steel anyway. And so 9CR, 10CR Damascus is a great budget steel. So why not, you know, you're not really making a sacrifice in terms of performance, maybe slightly if you're trading it out for 14C28N. I can't remember if these are normally Nitro V or 14C28N, but yeah, so it'd be a small step down from 14C, but nonetheless, not a deal breaker in terms of steel performance. And so to me, you know, this is by far the best one. And if you know, Civivi Damascus makes the most sense as far as I'm concerned, outside of, you know, Chad Nichols. But I waited around until, again, the right configuration came up for sale on CKG, and I was able to pick this up. So lots of great knives here. These are all knives that I missed, I had them for a short time, and then I was like, man, why did I get rid of that knife? What was I thinking? And fortunately, these are knives that I've been able to get back, and I'm super stoked to have the collection in the state that it's in right now. There are a couple more knives that are on my list. Some of them I've had before, some of them I haven't had before. But you know, I'm fortunate right now to be able to get my hands on some stuff that I've kind of wanted for a long time, and hopefully that trend will continue. And I will say CKG is a huge, huge part of that. So there you go, guys. Those are knives that I loved so much that I bought them twice. I'd love to hear your stories about this down in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching in Canada and you're not a member of Canadian Knife and Gear, you definitely need to become one. We will talk to you soon.